What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk to you about Lucid. It might be a little bit too early to start talking on Q3 numbers, but there was one thing that just came out that I wanted to share with you that would really help Q3 numbers. I want to go over all the things that you need to know, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, in case you do not know, there's a couple key metrics that Wall Street cares about for earnings per share and revenue. And so far in 2024, the market has been absolutely brutal to any company excessively burning cash. So of course, earnings per share is a good metric for that. So you see a lot of companies, even Lucid in fact, just not really hitting the mark, even though their last earnings they missed by 4 cents. That was one of the kind of attributing factors that really caused Lucid to go down, over and above, I guess, failing to give really good future guidance. But in Lucid's last earnings, they did state one thing, and I think it was more of an Easter egg. So as you can kind of see, they did state, although we have identified further cost reduction opportunities to execute this year. So they didn't really allude to what they meant by that. But that's been one of their main focuses pretty much the last several earnings is cost reduction. And I've been covering Lucid for probably too long, in fact. And one thing, ever since they announced AMP2, before even the construction, I said that would be absolutely ideal because AMP2, based on just where it's located, can easily, at a lot more advantage price point, just kind of ship to Europe, right? Because it makes a lot more sense that it's very central. They can pretty much go to China. So China, Europe has huge amounts of demand for EVs. So in reality, AMP2 probably is going to be more demanded or kind of put on strain than AMP1. That's just my own opinion, of course. And 𝗖𝗧𝗛𝗧𝗛 did kind of say the exact same thing. This is why they're really pushing for the AMP2 for production-wise. That's why by 2026, they did reiterate numerous times, in fact, that they're going to be able to do 150,000 vehicles. Okay, so why am I even talking about any of this? Well, there was one thing that just came out. So a simple picture. This was posted by this individual right here, so giving them a shout out. But it is deliveries in Frankfurt. So might seem just like a regular old picture. We've seen tons of these, but you can kind of see this right here. So this is why I've stated in the past, I really like 𝗖𝗧𝗛𝗧𝗛, but Saudi Bay. I've had him on, had a chat with him, very knowledgeable guy, but this. So we already do know that they kind of ship the shells to AMP2, reconstruct, and then they add their own kind of logo like the decal at the very back, right? So this is a AMP2 produced vehicle. So in reality, goes back to this point right here, they are shipping, which I'm pretty sure we already generally knew, just Lucid never really confirmed that AMP2 was going to kind of distribute to Europe. And so Frankfurt, I'm not really sure where Frankfurt is, to be honest. Somewhere here, I think, if I remember correctly, but beside the point. I think in general, this is very good, going to really help Lucid for cost-cutting measures. Again, nothing really wrong with, I think, AMP1, but it is going to be a lot cheaper to distribute from AMP2 to Europe and to China and wherever else than North America. And this is probably why Lucid just announced that promotion, the leasing promotion, which I'm not really a fan of, but for Canada, so where I'm located. But I think this is why AMP2 is going to be strategically working on this area, and then AMP2 will be right over here. So this is going to be very good, and you can already see that some analysts are somewhat forecasting that kind of better than kind of cost-cutting measures for the earnings per share. So I think generally that is going to make for a pretty good Q3 numbers. So again, that's not counting delivery and production numbers because Lucid already did state that because of seasonality and just holidays and whatever else, that it might not hit the actual metrics what a lot of people did like. But beside the point, I think the earnings per share might be a good a beat, only because of this type of cost cutting, doing a lot of things in-house, as what Peter even stated. They're going to be doing a lot more stuff in-house than what was previously stated. So yeah, I think all in all, this is a pretty exciting move, even though it's all stemming from just one finite small picture. And this is one thing I really like about Lucid and its investors. You have a overwhelming amount of knowledge, because again, if I just saw this, I wouldn't even catch on to it. I'm pretty sure 90% of people weren't able to really catch on to that. But this is why having a lot of individuals like 𝗖𝗧 able to catch on to those finite details is absolutely key. And so ultimately, do with all of this what you will. We'll just have to wait and see if that actually does work. So far for the current estimates for their upcoming earnings is estimated for November the 7th, negative 29 cents for the earnings per share, and 179.2 million for the revenue, which that did go down slightly recently. It went from about 180 to 179. So some analysts are becoming a little bit bearish on the obviously revenue, maybe just not hitting the marks for the deliveries. And over the last 90 days, on a side note, there's been 1 positive and 6 negative revisions to the earnings per share. So that's a quick snippet of that. But like I said, technically it's a little bit too early to start talking on numbers yet. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And make sure you guys take advantage of this promo, of course. Link in the description below and also the comments. Get you 5 free shares. Each share is valued up to $2,000. Kick-ass deal. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.